Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you're joining from. We will kick off in just a minute. Our waiting room just keeps filling back up. So as we wait for everyone to come in, as we're admitting everyone, I would love to see in the chat where everyone's joining us from. I see so many familiar faces here. So just quick in the chat where you're joining us from, either a chapter or what city you're closest to.
Sorry, I'm driving, but this is Rupal from Texas in Houston, chapter.
Thanks for joining us. All right, I see Maryland, New York, Chicago area, New Jersey, Memphis, more Chicago. I know Boston's here because I see others from Boston. I'm joining from the Boston area. We've got Kansas City here. We've got South Florida. Nicole's here from the West Coast, which I always love to see. So one of the wonderful things about virtual is you really can join us from anywhere. So we do tend to draw a crowd from all over at these events. All right. So we will get started in just a minute. If you're just joining us tonight for the first time, I'm speaking in East Coast, so I will use tonight because I'm East Coast. So we'll stick to this time zone. But the format for this evening is we have Anna joining us for a keynote. She'll talk for about 30 minutes. She's got a wonderful talk planned. Then after she's done, we will split into breakout rooms, and the breakout rooms are set up as close to geographically as possible. So we try to connect local chapters. If you're not near a local chapter, we connect you in somewhat close within the region that you're in. If we don't have your location, we may not get you in that breakout room right away when we split, but we will get you into a breakout room once they open. We also are going to put a form in the chat. It's called a Share Your Ask form. That form is an opportunity for you to share your ask with our network. So if there's somewhere that you're struggling personally, professionally, where you feel like you could use some support, pop it in that form. The more detailed, the better. So if you just say, I'm looking for a job, it's hard for us to pair you up with any kind of support. If you're looking for a marketing position in Boston, that's a clearer ask. Last month we had somebody who was looking for support in how to plan for a TED Talk. So the more specific you can be, the better supported you're going to end up being. Katie, if you want to go ahead and pop that form in the chat, we'll get it in there now. We'll share this again later. We'll also share it in those breakout rooms. So you'll have multiple opportunities to get your ask in there. But I want to make sure that we get as many asks as possible. What happens with that form is we'll gather all the data, we'll organize it, and then we will send it out to everybody within the next couple of days. So you'll have a full recap of this session along with that Share Your Ask form. If you've joined us in the past, we've had some tech issues on the back end with getting those turned around and sent out. We've fixed some of those issues, so we are planning on sending that out this week. With all of that, let me just pull up all of my notes. So today we have Anna Sun Choi. She's the CEO and founder of Conscious Business Coaching. She's a TEDx speaker and Forbes author. She's committed to elevating humanity's consciousness by empowering high-achieving six-figure conscious entrepreneurs to master their energy while growing their business with balance, not burnout. As a broke art major with zero experience or connections, Anna started and sold her first financial planning business, grossing six figures by the age of 25. Over the next decade, Anna served on faculty as one of 182 leadership program leaders for a 95 million global enterprise in the personal growth and development industry, while running her own marketing consulting firm for clients in the tech, finance, real estate, wellness, and coaching industry. Anna brings over 10,000 hours of mastery in coaching on leadership development, high performance, and stress management coaching for hundreds of conscious entrepreneurs, startups, and small businesses. Burned out from the hustle and grind, she pursued energy mastery as a Taekwondo martial artist, yoga instructor, and certified as Dawn Master, helping her high-achieving clients grow in flow through energy mastery. Anna's joining us today to share how you can find peace in times of chaos. I do want to add, if you have any questions for Anna or for us while we're live today, you can pop those in the chat box. And if we don't have time to answer them live, we'll accumulate them and connect with Anna separately. We'll make time for some follow-up. But if you do have questions, go ahead and pop those in the chat box. Anna, welcome. Thank you for being here today. I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to you.
Excellent. Okay. Oops. Oh, not that one. If you, while I'm pulling this up, if you can grab a piece of paper, we're going to be doing some drawing, and this will be very interactive. So if you don't have a journal, please make sure that you can find something you can draw a circle on. I am blanking out. It's not the enter full screen. It's the enter slideshow.
Slideshow.
Okay, slideshow. There we go. Nope. So why is it doing that?
So if you click up at the top where it says swap displays, that should swap you out.
Ah, okay.
There you go. Now we're good.
Excellent. Okay, so you guys only see the chair, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. So I walk into the financial planning office and I collapse on the ground next to this suede leather chair. And I am 25 years old and I have just grossed 6 figures, yet I am exhausted. So exhausted that I can't get up, and I shake my head and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not sustainable. Growth, but at a cost. Fast forward, I decide to sell my practice and go into my next venture. I go on sabbatical, and within 6 months, oops, there I am, being burned out in my early 20s. So I look at what really makes my heart happy, and I decide to have a family. That's my son at the time. He's now 9 years old, and that's my husband. And publish a children's book. We travel the world. We buy new houses, or buy our first home. Things are good, but our bank account is not. In fact, we're on food stamps. And I remember being at the store where I'm at the checkout line, and the lady's like, wait, hold on. Hey, Wanda, she needs to change out these beans. She can't get this on her card. And in that moment, I'm like, oh gosh, something's got to shift. I got to be happy and make the money, right? So my son is now 2.5 years old, and my husband quits full time to be a stay-at-home dad because we wanted at least one parent home with the kiddo. And I go back into work eagerly. And this time, though, I have a house, a spouse, and a kid to support. And so eventually I do land my way. I start my second company in event consulting for social impact. And this is where I start working in the tech industry. But I'm running the equivalent of 4 weddings at the same time, or at different timelines, nonstop. And again, I find myself burned out now in my early 30s. So I say enough, and I end up, I'm like, babe, you got to go back to work. Now my son is 5 years old, and we are able to, I pivot my business to really energetically align myself with where I'm not going to get burned out. I'm going to do what I love, serve whom I want to. And we went from food stamps and $67,000 in debt to being debt-free, maxing out retirement. And in 2019, was grossing 6 figures, taking 9 weeks of vacation off. And so that's awesome. And you have to make sure that when you're gone on vacation, sometimes you overwork and you're still working just as hard when you're not working. So there is a middle path where you can have it all, of whatever success means for you. And I share this not to just share my story, but to have you look at your own energy mastery journey. So this is a crude picture of what energetic alignment can look like. And at each step of my journey, like when I was a financial advisor, right, it was the wrong industry for me, and it was killing my body, right? But I loved my clients, and I loved, because my heart was aligned and my soul was happy making a difference for these people. In the next business, right, my soul was very empty. I did not care about the tech talent gap. And so I want you to start thinking about where are you in your energy mastery journey? Are you aligned on the level of your physical, your emotions, your heart and your soul, or is something a little bit off? So go ahead and chat. What, on a scale of 1 to 10, how burned out are you right now? And 10 is super burned out and 1 is not so burned out. And Megan and Katie might have you kind of jump in and share the numbers that are coming through, because my screen is like.
I've got some 7s, some 8s. Oh, we have an 11. A 1.
Nice.
I've got a 2, but bored. 4 at work in her job. 6, 7, 8, 7,
Good.
8.
I do this talk a lot in a lot of different audiences. It's always fascinating to me, right? So it sounds like this one's fairly, it's like maybe averaging around the 4 to 8 area.
Yep.
Kind of in the middle. Okay, great. So why are people burned out? Well, there's a lot of things and global trends to keep in mind. So obviously there's tons of information. Our brains are having to digest way more than a year ago or 2 years ago. And there's a statistic from, it's now old, like from 3-4 years ago, that all of humanity's civilization and data, like 90% of it has been produced just in the last 2 years alone. Gotta kind of grok that. And that's only going to be more. It's probably now like 95%, right? Of all of humanity's information was produced in the last like year, which is probably going to be half a year, as billions are being downloaded constantly as more people are online. So your brain has to contend with that, and then constantly making decisions. When you go into the grocery store, it's not simple. You have to like sort and analyze. Same with your laptop. As far as constant adaptation, 65% of preschoolers are going to be in jobs that don't yet exist. So yes, we've got the pandemic, which exacerbated things, but we're in a constant upward trend of having to adapt in shorter and shorter timeframes. And then not to mention inside, we have ongoing distractions of our emotions dealing with loss, revenue loss, or it could be death, or so many different things. So with all that, your brain is like working out super hard, and your body might feel like this cup. No matter how much you keep pouring in and working harder, it just keeps leaking out. So you might ask yourself, well, geez, I just wish I could be in this place of peace or calm. And that's my son. That's where we live in Dinola Beach with the Mount Rainier back there. It's a beautiful place. And if we keep thinking that this is possible, I'm not saying it's not, but that's kind of a fantasy, because in reality, this is more what it's like. A tsunami. We live in a constant state of fluctuation and decisions that need to be made, but you have a choice to surf that wave. So that's what the 5 keys are. And we'll go through each of these one at a time. And so in a moment, I'm going to ask you to draw, but for right now, allow more yin to your yang. You want to listen within, invest in you first, value your fears, and energize your daily flow. So grab that piece of paper now, and you want to draw a circle, and then cut it into 5 slices. And if you get all freaked out about that, you're like, I don't draw. You're all an artist from within. But think of it like a person that's just like standing up like that to make the pie pieces a little bit equal. And then you can put the number, just follow this diagram, put ALIVE around the edges, and you're going to rate yourself as we go through each of these steps. So picture the hub of the wheel. 0 is, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And 5 is, oh yeah, I totally do that. It'll make more sense when we go along. Okay, so key 1, allowing more yin to your yang. So we have a super yang culture where the hustle and grind can be glorified, and this is shifting, especially during the pandemic, but it's still expected that your business is you're just gonna work a lot of hours, and whether you have a business or whether you're in a corporate job or anywhere. And so what this means, adding more yin, is just like nature naturally flows. Your breath goes in and out, the seasons come and go, so does your energy flow. And instead of the yang, 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 10 times more growth, figure out your hacks, 100 times more whatever, like this constant growth at any cost. we got to balance it out with yin, which is doing nothing. It is leisure. It is reflecting and building that into your day. So we can look at it from a macro level, where when you're doing your business planning, if you're doing it, but if you're doing it, that you plan vacations first and you block that in as sacred. And I recommend at least 1 week off per quarter at a minimum, if not 2. And that allows yourself to reset and so something to look forward to. I had a client that named Stephanie, and she is an insurance agent, has her own agency of 3 employees, plus herself. And when she goes through open enrollment, it's kind of like a tax going through CPA season. She just puts her head down. She knows Q2, Q4 are going to suck, and then just survives it. But she was able to, when we're working together, like look at, okay, we mapped out her vacation first, and she knew she could see the light at the end of the tunnel. And she hadn't visited her family like in years. And this is like pre-pandemic. And then we also built into her weekly schedule. So we looked at the macro of doing that, but then you can take it down to quarterly, always having a rhythm that allows you to rejuvenate down to a month, down to a week. And each week we looked at, sometimes on Thursday nights, she needed to do a double header and stay up super late, but then she could sleep in on Friday. And we crafted like a perfect rhythm that allowed that yin and that yang natural flow so that she had space to think, right? And it was so awesome because at the middle of the season, she really looked at what gives her energy, and she loves to sing and she loves to thrift shop, and she joined this chorus during open enrollment period. And at the end, she was walking down, and the competitor right across the way was like, "Are you still in business?" She's like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, how is that possible? How can you be like, in a chorus putting up flyers?" And Stephanie's like, "My business coach." So it is possible to have things be smooth while you're still growing your business. So go ahead and rate yourself, just making a little tick mark. So if you're someone who understands the value and follows it, you take lots of time off, you take vacations. I love to take Sundays totally offline, like offline. We just did a 16-day road trip through the Southwest, and I remote worked for like 3 days of that. So if you're someone that really values vacation, you are reliable to do that. You give yourself a 5. But this also includes on a more micro level of in the week, you have natural pauses and buffers and days off, right? Then rate yourself a 5 if you don't even think about this really, and you do take vacations, but it's not intentional, or you just do it when you can't stand it anymore, you'd be on the lower end. So I just want to hear quickly if people can chat what they rate themselves on a 0 to 5. Where would you rate yourself on the A? And if you can share.
Yeah, it's a big range. Sorry, it's moving really fast, but
Yes.
I've got some 5, 4, 3, 2s, a lot of 2, 3, 4.
A lot of 2, 3, 4. Okay, great. Perfect. Okay, so I'm just setting a timer there so I can make sure I'm on time. Great. So the next one is listening within, and this is your there's 3 inner advisors, and I'm getting this from the book Yes, Yes, Hell No by Brian Whitaker. And it's where, sometimes you make decisions and then you've got a lot of internal conflict and voices, like the movie Inside Out. So how do you make decisions? How do you know which advisors to listen to? So consider that you have 3 advisors, and one's your intuition, also could be your gut. One is logic, your rational side of your brain, and then the third is fear, which is more visceral as an emotion. So everybody right now, chat, what is a decision that you have to make? And we'll practice this tool. What is a small decision or a big decision? I want to hear what those are.
Can you repeat the name of the book that you shared?
Yes, yes, hell no.
All right, I'll give you a few of these. Whether to keep looking for a job or start my own business, moving my business out of my basement to a larger commercial facility, launching a podcast, mashed potatoes or rice for dinner, getting a virtual assistant.
Excellent. Okay, great. Okay, good. So if to participate, I highly recommend coming up with something right away, even if it's small, just so you can test this out. Okay, now what you're gonna do is you can close your eyes or keep them open, but go within and ask yourself the question that you just chatted. Like, should I hire that virtual assistant? Should I leave this job and start my own business? Should I have mashed potatoes or rice for dinner, right? And then you're going to say, okay, to yourself, or you can say it out loud, but to yourself, be like, okay, intuition, what's your answer? And whatever first answer is right there, yes or no. And if you get like a mixed or non-answer, that's kind of like a no. It should be like an obvious yes. Okay, the next, you ask your logic. Should I hire this virtual assistant? And it's either going to start rationalizing, well, yeah, it'd be good because of this, it's kind of pro-con list advisor. Or it's going to start saying, maybe not a good idea. Then you're going to check in with your decision right now on the third one, which is fear. And either like, should I hire this virtual assistant? And there's going to be like a no, or yes, listen for what, again, that guttural response. So how you discern this is if you get a no on the first two, it's a no-go. So if either your intuition or logic is like, then you don't even worry about fear. Where this gets tricky though, right, is when you sometimes have conflict. So if you get a yes, but then a hell no, that is actually a yes in disguise, because it means you're about to break through a transformational barrier that you didn't know you had. And so you actually want to face and lean into that fear, which we'll talk about in the next couple steps. Okay, so when you're making a big decision, this can be very helpful in terms of like, oh, why am I getting this like visceral no, and it actually is a yes. So that's how you use that tool. I have lots of stories, but I'm going to pass on the story. Okay, so L is, go ahead and rate yourself 1 to 5. So 5 is, oh yeah, I am completely guided by what's on the inside. And 0 is like, I read everything outside myself. I talk to so many girlfriends. I talk to tons of advisors. I get lots of conflicting advice, and I get more confused. So if you go look at outside yourself, that's a 0, 1. And if you are inside and you trust yourself, and maybe you're wrong sometimes, but you really trust yourself and go within for your own wisdom, it's a 5. Okay, what are people rating themselves?
I see a lot of 4s, some 3s.
Ooh, nice. Conscious group. Yeah. Okay,
Yep,
great.
a lot of 3, 4.
Perfect. Okay, so the next one is invest in you first, and just consider that your current life, your business, your job is a reflection of what's on your insides. So if you consider that as possible, then you are your biggest investment. And as you grow, your foundation of integrity to continue growing needs to get bigger. And this is where people have messed up, okay? Because people are like, sure, I need to invest in myself. But let's say, like during the pandemic, I normally do yoga, 2-3 times a week, let's say, for my well-being, and I do like half an hour morning check-ins. But during the pandemic, things were so stressful and helter-skelter. I was homeschooling, I was remote working with my husband, like all this stuff was happening, that I had to do like 2 hours of time to myself to increase that foundation. And then like every day I had to do yoga to unwind because it was that stressful. So the investing you first is calibrating to whatever stress or pressure that you might be dealing with, or it could be positive stress, like your business or job responsibilities are growing too fast for you. And it's like good problems, but you're still overwhelmed or stressed by it. You got to increase what you invest in you first. So this is Bree. She has 2 multi-6-figure company. She's like a sales consultant, and she has 2 homeschool kids. She's got ADD. She's got 2 boys, and she just could not like get space or time for herself. And so out of the work we did together, she figured out, we like hacked, okay, how she can get like a 20-minute meditation in and use her own bedroom to start doing her yoga. When she got a morning ritual down that could help ground her, she was surprised. She was like, oh my goodness. Okay. She went downstairs. Her boys were about to go into a fight. And she like was like, eh! And before she went, eh! She's like, hold on. Because that meditation from the morning was helping, right? And she was like, I'm about to get real angry. I don't need to get angry. And she could bring herself back down, which was a huge breakthrough from just reacting and yelling, right? So she just had a higher level of awareness. Okay, another guy, I don't have him pictured here, but Josh, he got back from his vacation and was able to like close way more sales right away just because he was relaxed. So when you expand again that foundation for you time and what you need to really nourish your soul, that's what matters. So do you have a morning ritual or bedtime ritual that helps ground you and close your day out versus like the incessant nonstop voice, you know, before you go to bed saying, oh, I should have done this. Why didn't I do that? Blah, 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 blah. So rate yourself on I, invest in you. So 5 is where you absolutely have been, you have like a nice ritual that you are fairly consistent with, not perfect, but consistent with. You prioritize yourself first. You don't give in to the other needs and demands that are always at you with children, clients, for the most part. There's always exceptions. And 0 is, hell no, I'm just putting out fires all day. Okay, what's our verdict?
All right. I see 3, 4, 2, 2, 3.
Okay, that one's a little more reactive. Okay,
All over.
excellent. Okay, cool. So next is value your fears. I used to call this vanquish your fears because I thought it was a battle. But oh no, this does not work. So this is Patty. She had a fitness studio, a fitness coach, and obviously when the pandemic it shut down for a bit. And so she had to face her fear of like, crap, like what am I gonna do? You know, I can't serve people. And she went right away to online. It just wasn't the same. And then in our part of the country, we have like 9-month winters of cold and rain and gust. So it sucks and you can't stay outside and do your thing because she's doing outdoor, you know, she moved it to like canvases. Anyway, so she not just faced her fear and allowed it, we have like a group community called the Yin Within. And so she's asking the ladies like, what did I do? And she faced her fear of getting a loan, which she has never been in debt. So that was like a big deal. And she built this enormous structure that you see here that allowed her, no matter what the COVID guidelines were, to always have her class. And a year later, the women are like, we don't want to go back inside. We love it out here. She's like, it's like a new way of doing business. So when you value your fears and are able to not just allow them, but face them and welcome them as an opportunity that otherwise wouldn't be there, there's real power there. So, always I want to share more stories. I'm like, when I got pregnant, I had this huge fear I was going to have to get a cesarean. And I was in denial. I was like, no, I'm going to just water birth my son. And when I actually faced the fear and I drew a picture of the worst case scenario with like the guys with all sterile and it's cold and I can't see my baby and blah, 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 blah. I faced it. I'm like, okay, if this happens, I have to acknowledge this could happen. So I like embraced it, accepted it. And then what was cool after I accepted it, I was like, well, what could I create? And I was like, you know what? There'd be music playing. And I added little picture notes across the picture. And I was like, and everyone would be smiling. I put little happy eyes on the masked people. And I was like at peace with it. And lo and behold, I ended up water birthing my son. But I truly believe that if I had not done that work to face the fear and value it, I would have had it because I was like so averse to it. It was like the resistance would have made it happen. So anyway, that's just another fun story. So rate yourself. 5 is facing your fears and being able to value, like welcome them. Like when you can notice it and not get taken over by it and consumed by it, even if it's the biggest fear of all, maybe death, right? If you can really be at peace even with death, what a superpower that is. Okay, so rate yourself. 5 means absolutely, I get it. Fear is my teacher. And 0 is like, what are you talking about, woman? Okay, what do we got?
I see a lot of threes, some twos. There's a range, but a lot of some fours. I would say 3 is a good average.
3 is good average on that one. Okay. Okay. All right. So the last one's energize your daily flow. And this is where you can move your body essentially to reclaim your energy and refuel. So a lot of people, there's just 1-minute exercises because you don't have time to maybe do a whole full exercise workout. I get it. Everybody put your thumb and fingers out. I'm going to show you a quick one you can do right at your desk, which will help integrate your left and right brain. So you want to put out your thumbs, one out here and the other pinky like this. I can't see everyone. That's okay. And then you're going to switch. Whoop. Oh, it's kind of hard. You can close them and then try it slow, like this, and then switch. And over time, you can get better at this until you master it, and then you can come up with other fun games. I'll give you guys a link later. I got a bunch of videos. You can watch them later to practice these exercises, but that is another thing. So go ahead and rate yourself there, which is just giving yourself a brain break. Did you notice you were like kind of laughing at yourself because you're like, my fingers aren't moving right? And that helps alleviate things. Okay, so rate yourself again. 5 is like, oh yeah, I totally move my body. I'm not stuck at the computer all day like this, hunched. And 0 is, oh yeah, I don't hardly move. I don't even exercise. Okay, where are we at for that? Oops. I'm gonna go, can I go over by 3 more minutes?
That's fine. Yeah,
okay.
We have a range again. There's
Of course.
a big range here.
Okay, great. So that's perfect. What you want to do now is connect the dots. And this is like your energy wheel. And how optimized is your energy wheel? Is it rolling along or not? So I have no idea what people's wheels are going to look like. It'd be really cool if people could show in the window their picture of their wheel. Can we see that? Can people show your wheel? And then I can't take a screenshot because I can't see you. Maybe I can.
Oh, Candace had hers up. That was the only one I saw.
Oh,
here, I see a few here.
Okay, let's take a screenshot.
Oh, here's a few.
Hold it up, Lana. You can cover your face if you want.
My screen is split, so I only see 8 people at a time. Hold on, let me see if I can change this.
Okay, I can stop the share too, but
here we go.
So this is just a snapshot of your current state right now of where your energy is and why this all matters to begin with is because that is life. Cray cray. And how can we learn to surf is by learning to master your energy. And a lot of times, so those are the 5 keys. So you guys can take these tools and use them. You can use this little rating system. I'll send a link as well to help with, I don't see it on here. I'll give a link later. But if you go to annasunchoi.com/free, there's an energy optimizer test that you can take this to the next step. And it's just a self-assessment in a Google Doc. And you can score yourself even further by the 4 main energy centers you have of your heart, mind, body, and soul, and see which power center is off balance. So again, that's annasunchoi.com/free. This is a nice tool you can have. Why this matters now is just because, look, we feel like that guy falling off sometimes, or we're like, oh, we're just beginning. We don't know what we're doing. We need a teacher or a guide. So that's where I can come into place. And just for you guys here, it's normally $250 consult. I will waive that up through, I have the wrong date on here. Sorry. Not April 2nd, because that passed. Excuse me. I will do that through the next 2 weeks. So that'll be good for you. You can just indicate events attendee, and I'll waive that, and it'll be complimentary. On that call, we look at your energy drains of where you are now. What does your energy mastery picture really look like? And what are your best 1 to 2 steps to get there? So that's my promise. You'll have a transformative conversation that helps you identify what to stop doing where you might have energy leaks, or what to replenish more of that gives you mojo, that refuels you, so that you can be more optimized as a wheel in life. Okay, so that is it. And that's where you can book the time in that link if you're interested in that. But otherwise, here, I do have the slide. You can take the energy optimizer there. Okay, that's what I got.
Thank you.